So we're going to talk about trucks for pulling RVs, for travel trailers, for Class A's, Class B's. We're going to talk about the best reliable trucks, what has changed over the last 20 years, why a lot of these vehicles are less reliable. And for example, V6, V8, those were the reliable vehicles in the past, and they're not so much anymore. So what's going on with the market? Why are these the ones that are failing? And we're going to talk about turbos. So give you an idea of which vehicles and why they are reliable. So let's get started. So the first category is turbo engines. Now you're seeing a lot of turbo engines on these trucks lately, and there's a good reason for it. I know they're not as reliable as the old V8s and V6s, but whenever you're looking at this entire picture, the turbos are not that bad. Now, let me explain. These turbos aren't going to last, 150, 200,000 miles. They're just not going to get that range because they're not like a diesel. A diesel turbo, they run at a very low RPM, and that low RPM, they run a lot cooler. And a gas turbo, they spin a lot of RPMs. They're running 5,000, 6,000 RPM sometimes on the engine, which is really cranking that turbo up, putting a lot of heat into it. So this is why gas turbos don't last as long as the traditional diesel engine with a turbo. So is this a bad thing? I'm going to say no. Turbos are probably one of the better options out there, and I'm going to talk about the V6 and V8 models without the turbos, the traditional reliable ones, why they're not reliable anymore. So historically, the V6 and the V8 engines were the reliable, vehicle engine out there. And it's not the case anymore. The last 20 years, you're seeing, even Toyota Tundra, Toyota's been, named as the most reliable vehicle out there. Even they're having tons of engine failures because of these problems. It is because they have to, again, meet the miles per gallon. So they do cylinder turning off. And that sounds really good. I can turn my V8 into a 4-cylinder. It sounds on paper, sounds really great. But what they have to do this is they have lifters, and the valves, the lifters, they have to shut off basically. They shut the oil off to the there's a little lifter piston in there, and it collapses the lifters on these pistons. When it collapses, the valves don't open, and that disengages the piston along with shutting off the fuel to it. The problem is this type of lifter, because of the harsh environment that it lives in and the turning off the oil and turning it back on, they fail a lot. And you hear, Toyota, Chevy about the V8 or V6 engine ticks, and the tick is, failing these engines. That's the reason why. Now, it's not completely gone for natural aspirated cars. Honda has actually came up with, and it's not really new technology to them. They've come up with, it's a technology they came out with in 2000, variable valve technology, VVT. And instead of using the variable valve technology to change the valve, way, they switch it the other direction, and it disengages the valves. So it's a technology that they've already had in the past. They're just using it for a better, response for this. Instead of doing, collapsible lifters, they're doing this because collapsible lifters have been proven to be a bad idea. They fail in every single vehicle they put them in. Chevy, Ford, anything they ever put these collapsible lifters in, it fails. So at least Honda's got a good idea of what they're going to do with this, and probably the rest of them will kind of figure it out along the way. Now let's talk about the two biggest ones that are coming into market, the Scout and the Ramcharger. And the reason why, in my opinion, these are changers, game changers for the truck industry, is, believe it or not, even though these are electric/generator vehicles, they're going to be really reliable. And the reason why is this engine, so it's going to be a V6 or inline 4-cylinder, and behind it is a generator. So all it has to do is spin up to, 2,500 RPM or 2,000 RPM. It spins up to that speed, it runs a generator, and then it shuts off. It spins it up and it shuts off. They don't have to have a starter because the generator can actually be the starter. So the generator is tied directly to the engine. No transmission, no torque converters. The generator kicks on the engine powers the generator, and then it shuts off. This is great for many reasons because, for one, because you know the RPM range, like 2,000 RPM, let's say, because you know that range, you know the harmonics that are coming off that engine and the sound waves that are coming off. You can actually counter the sound waves from that specific noise in the cab, so you won't even hear the engine at all. It's just like driving an electric vehicle. You counter the sounds, you don't get any sound in your cab because you know what the harmonics are that are coming out of it. Another thing, you don't need these crazy smog equipments that we've had, since, the 70s even. You don't need that anymore because we are running this engine at a controlled environment where we know exactly how much valve timing, how much the valves need to open. Everything we know for that RPM range, we have it under control. 2,000 RPM, we know what it needs to do. We build the engine that way to begin with, and then it doesn't get high smog ratings. It gets low smog ratings because it's tuned for that RPM range and that amount of fuel going in. So this is just a genius concept. You don't need fancy valve timing structure, so switching, VVTs. You don't need this because you know the RPM range. So you basically are building a dumb, simple, no complex stuff, 1950s, engine that, maybe 1960s, but 1960s engine that has no complex stuff to it and has the technology of today. So all the technology of reliability, of, fine tuning the gaps, everything that we have today without all the complex stuff on this engine. So I think this is going to be a huge win. And like I said, Ramcharger is doing it. Scout is doing it. Now, I don't have all the details on Scout because Scout hasn't released the engine yet. And I really hope they do not put a turbo on that engine, because you put a turbo on there, of course, now you run into the, more complex engine level. So hopefully they don't put a turbo on it. We'll see what they do when it gets released. You're going to have an electric motor, which, by the way, Tesla and all these other motor companies have proven these motors, they're getting 200, 300,000 miles on these things. Easy. And it's because there's no, no wear. There's no jarring, like when an engine shifts or transmission shifts, it gets that jar. You don't get that on an electric vehicle because there's no transmission shifts. You get, controlled electrical, flow to those motors. So I think this is just a win-win on the truck industry. So we'll see. Of course, long-term tells it all. But if you're looking for a truck, basically I want to say turbos aren't bad because you're going to get 150,000 miles, 200,000 miles, maybe even more out of a turbo gas engine. Just remember to keep the RPMs down on a turbo gas engine. Don't spin those things high. And the biggest downturn is, these V8s and V6s that are out there, they're just not good because of this lifter issue that they have. So I'm going to steer you away from getting a natural aspirated V6 or V8, especially with the current engines that are out there. And, look forward to the Scout. Look forward to the Ramcharger, because I really think the minute the Ramcharger comes out, I'm going to do a review on this thing, because this thing, I think it's going to be a game changer. The F-150 Lightning was like the game changer for the electric world. That I didn't see it ever really happening because of the range issue. This Ramcharger doesn't have a range issue. It has 600 miles plus of range. It has electrification, so you can charge it at home, so you can still get the benefits of an electric vehicle. It's shorter range for electric, but it just has the win-win of all these types of categories. So we'll see. That's my opinion on it anyway. And the Ramcharger is getting released. It's supposed to be the end of January 2026. So we'll see how it goes. But that's it for this episode. And again, if you like what we're doing, Please subscribe because you make this channel happen.